When you've been through hell, leave sparks of fire wherever you go. Welcome to the InspireFIre Podcast with author Winslow E. Dixon.
Hello and welcome to the InspireFIre Podcast with author Winslow E. Dixon. Today we're going to be discussing how to free yourself from panic attacks. And I just want to go ahead and give the disclaimer that I am not a medical doctor. These are just tips that I have found both professionally and personally to help you conquer panic attacks. And I also want to give the disclaimer that this might be a trigger warning for those of you that do have severe panic attacks, but I hope some of these tips do help you. So I will just explain personally that I have just recently started having panic attacks. And it has really opened my eyes to the severity of how debilitating mental health issues can truly be. I have always had physical health issues, but have just recently started experiencing panic attacks. I've had some personal things happen where somebody that I loved very dearly abandoned me, walked out of my life, and so I have been having severe panic attacks when I realize that this person is no longer in my life. Coupled with the physical issues, it has really been a debilitating issue. So I have found things both professionally and personally that have really helped me work through that. And the main tip that I really want to share is when you realize that your mind is powerful enough to produce a panic attack. I mean, think about how you feel in those moments, how overwhelming it is, and how you absolutely cannot function. The power that truly that your mind has. Your heart starts racing, you do start having physical symptoms, and it really encompasses your whole being, mind, body, and spirit. And so if your mind is that powerful to do that, how much power does it have to change your life for the better? How much power does your mind and your thoughts and your processes have to truly impact your life? And that's the topic we're going to talk about today, is really how much power is in your mind. And of course, we've seen the negative effects of that when we do have these panic attacks. Like I said, I have been having severe panic attacks. I have always had physical health issues, but just recently started having mental health issues. And so I would have these dreams of this person who has recently abandoned me, and I would wake up and realize the reality of the situation, that they're not in my life anymore, and have a severe panic attack. Have all the physical symptoms, racing heart, trouble breathing, that sort of thing. And it was all because of the mental incapacitation of these panic attacks. And so when we have these panic attacks, the first thing that we need to do to really control them is to identify the source of them. Identify what is triggering these panic attacks, what is causing our minds to have this much control over it. Like I said, I know the source of mine. Mine is this recent abandonment, but you might have some other issue. There might be something in your life that's absolutely incapacitating you mentally. And there's no shame in that. Like I said, there is absolutely no shame in recognizing that there's something that's affecting you mentally. I give the example to my clients many times is that a strong bodybuilder can pick up a rock and move it multiple times and not be fazed. But day after day after day after day, if you continuously pick up that rock and you're never having to put it down, even the strongest person is going to feel the weight of that. Even the strongest person is going to get exhausted from having to pick up that rock every single day. And those of us with chronic health issues, or maybe some familial issues or marital issues or anything like that, that's a rock that you're having to pick up every single day of your life. And so we need to learn, first of all, to recognize the rock, to recognize, okay, this is the rock in my life I'm having to pick up every single day. And we also need to recognize that sometimes we might need help picking up that rock. Sometimes there are going to be things that absolutely overwhelm us, and that doesn't mean that we're not strong people. That doesn't mean that we're mentally incapacitated. That doesn't mean that we are wrong in a way. It just means that there is something heavy in your life that you're continuously having to pick up. So in those cases, there are many things that we can do to try to lessen the weight of this rock in our lives. Like I said, the first thing to do is recognizing the rock. The second thing we can do is learning how to cope with it. I have talked many times in these podcasts and on my blog about the concept of A&A. No, it's not Alcoholics Anonymous. It's acceptance and action. You accept the things that you can't change, and you act on the things that you can. There are some things in life that you absolutely can change. You can change how you view yourself. You can add affirmations into your life. You can add that positivity, and that will benefit you. But there are also some things that you can't change. If you have health problems, if you have had someone that walked away from you, if you have familial issues, if you have abandonment issues, those may be some things that you can't change. And so in those places, we have to accept. Acceptance is not giving up. Acceptance is just the realization that there are some things in life that we just cannot change. And as hard as that is, especially for type A people like me, it's something that absolutely has to be done. And so instead of fighting this rock and trying to throw it every day and just like getting frustrated at it, if we pick it up day by day and just recognize, this is my rock, this is what I have to do. A lot of times, things in our life, we anticipate. We think about it too much before it even happens. If there's an event that you have to go to, things like that, and you dread it beforehand, you're not only going to make yourself miserable during that event, but you're making yourself miserable days, hours, whatever, before that event. And so you're adding even more misery into your life. And so we have to adopt this concept of mental conditioning. And it's just like any other sport or any other endurance activity. You're going to have to build up to it. Like I said, with the recent panic attacks that I've been having, if I think about how this person is not going to be in my life for the rest of my life, it incapacitates me. And it absolutely makes me panic. And so I have to go, you know what? I have survived 6 months with them being gone. I have survived so many days, and I'll survive today. I'm not going to think about tomorrow. I'm not going to think about next month. I'm not going to think about next week. But I will think about how I can survive today. And that is the trick to managing anything in life, is taking it day by day. You can't take on 5 rocks at a time. Pick up your rock and carry it as gracefully and as easily as you can. That being said, there are going to be some days where that rock is so heavy that it's going to collapse. And you're going to collapse, and you're going to have so many problems. And that's okay. Every human is exactly that, human. And so on those days, it's important to reach out. Reach out to a friend. Reach out to a family member. If you don't have anybody like that, reach out to a therapist or a counselor. There are many, many support groups and outreaches, churches, community centers, anything like that. If your rock gets too heavy to where you feel like you're collapsing, it is those points that you need to reach out and let somebody help carry it for you. Now, I'm not saying, don't take responsibility for yourself, and there are some things that you have to handle, but it doesn't mean that you have to handle them alone. There are many, many support groups, many support avenues that you can reach out to when your rock gets too heavy. There is absolutely no shame in reaching out for help, and I just want to encourage anyone listening to this that you are truly in control. They say that knowledge is power, but it's true. It's very, very true. Your mind is what drives everything, your thoughts, your actions. Your mind is what drives your attitude. Your mind is what drives your life. And so if your mind is so defeated and so overwhelmed that you can't even do your normal life and it's impacting your activities, and let me tell you, I've been there. I have been so sad and so overwhelmed. I couldn't even eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't function. It took everything inside me just to breathe because the grief was so great. But you know what you have to do? You have to realize that if your mind is powerful enough to cripple you, if your mind is powerful enough to absolutely stop you, it's powerful enough to empower you. It's powerful enough to make you do what you need to do. It's powerful enough to where it can overpower what's going on in your life. And like I said, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that it can be done overnight. But you can live day by day with the rock in your life. It might seem overwhelming and it might seem impossible, but I assure you that you are strong enough in your mind and in your spirit to conquer anything. Terrible things happen in this world, and I really wish that it didn't, but there are people that pass away too young. There are children that get cancer. There are people that their marriages end. There are people that walk away from their best friends. This happens in life, and it doesn't stop. Life does not stop for anyone, and you might feel like it should. You might feel like the world should just stop spinning because your world has stopped spinning, but let me tell you something. Tomorrow always comes. Tomorrow always comes. And the trick to managing these panic attacks is just realizing that you are in control. And I'll give you an example. The other morning I woke up and I felt terrible with my physical disease, and I I missed this person so much. I felt like I was going to absolutely collapse. And I thought, I don't know if I can get through this. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can walk every day of my life without him. And then I realized I am in control of what I can handle. I am in control of what I can do. And I am in control of how I live my life. And I will not allow one thing to stop me. Yeah, I have other problems, and yeah, I'm sure you do too. I'm sure you don't have enough money that you want, or maybe your health isn't where you want, or maybe your marriage or your family. I know that life is hard, but we are all in control of where our minds go. And so if it's constantly taking you to a place that makes you sad and miserable, take control of that. Realize that. You have to mentally condition yourself and mentally tell yourself every day, I am in control of my mind. My mind is not in control of me. And like I said, I know it's not easy. There are going to be times where you feel overwhelmed. But at the end of the day, when you own your power and when you realize that you are the one that is in control of your mind, imagine what you could accomplish. If you can do those panic attacks and survive, imagine that power in a positive place. Imagine that power going towards your goals, towards your dreams, towards yourself. Imagine that. If we gave our goals and our dreams as much power and as much effort and as much focus as we gave our problems, where would we go in this world? How much could we do? It's all about focus. So anybody listening to this, I just want to empower you and encourage you that you are in control of your mind. It's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be overnight. But when you have those overwhelming thoughts, you just have to condition yourself. I am in control. And you might sound like a crazy person, but honestly, sometimes I have to verbally say that out loud when I get overwhelmed. When I get overwhelmed with my disease and thinking about how he abandoned me or whatever, you have to just mentally go, I am in control of my mind. And yeah, you might sound like a crazy person. That's okay. I will be a self-admitted crazy person. But you know what? I'll be a crazy person that tries their best, and I'll be a crazy person that tries to do my best no matter what. And that's all anybody can ask of anyone. Your best is enough, and you are in control of your mind. Like I said, I know it's not that simple. I know it's not red light, green light, on and off, but we have to own our power and own the fact that we can put positive things, positivity, positive affirmations, anything that's going to bring light instead of darkness is the key to picking up that rock every single day. So this has been Freeing Yourself from Panic Attacks with author Winslow E. Dixon on the InspireFIre Podcast, and I thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to the InspireFIre Podcast by Winslow E. Dixon. For more information, visit winsloweDixon.wordpress.com.